In the last video, we looked at the water cycle, and in the water cycle, we looked at evaporation, which was when the liquid water changes into vapor. We call it evaporation, and when the water vapor changes back into the liquid water, we called it condensation. Now, when the water goes into the clouds, it forms clouds. Those clouds later on falls as rainfall, hailstones, and snow. So those hailstones, snow, and really forms what we call precipitation. Now, in this video, let's quickly look at plants. Plants are important and nice. We like plants. We eat them as vegetables. We eat them as fruits. We really enjoy plants. We cannot do without plants. Now, first, quickly, before we can look at these plants, let's look at water. There's water here, and we also have plants. Okay. We have water and plants. So this is a sample of my plant here. So these plants, we have already mentioned to say they are important to us. Now, these plants need water. When you look at this plant, it looks green and beautiful. Why? Because there's water in it. The moment it loses water, all these beautiful leaves that you see, they will wilt, okay? They will dry. It will lose this beautifulness it has right now. So water is important to a plant. It helps it to maintain its structure. It helps it absorb the nutrients, okay? If you look at my chart here, it has got the soil. In the soil, we are going to find the nutrients. Now, these nutrients, for them to be absorbed, for the plant to use these nutrients, they have to dissolve, okay? They have to dissolve. So the water dissolves these nutrients and transports it into the plant, and then the plant will eventually be able to use it. So really, water is very important in the life of a plant. Without water, plants and people and animals would die eventually, okay? Now, having looked at the importance of water in a plant, specifically today we want to look at transpiration, and by the end of the lesson we shall understand what transpiration is really about. Anyway, let's start first things first. I've got a tiny little plant here. The big one, I didn't uproot it well. I wish you could really see what I see. Now, this plant, it has parts, okay? This plant has got of course, these are the leaves, and then there's no stalk, but there's, okay, it goes down, and then it has got the roots. There's one big root here. This plant has just got one big root. Plants are different. Others have roots going around, others has one root going down. Now, this plant has got a root. Now, these roots, they've got there's hair around this root. There's one root going down, and it has got hairs around it. There's some little tiny hair that I can touch here and see. I don't know if you guys can see the hair, which my plant. Yes, wow, you can see the tiny hair around my root there. So this hair, we call it root hair. This is the hair. This is what is responsible for absorbing the water which is in the soil, okay? You remember there are minerals in the soil dissolved in the water. Then this water has to be sucked by the plant. So the plant sucks these nutrients in the soil through the hair roots. So these nutrients will enter the plant through these tiny hair roots. Now, the hair roots will absorb these nutrients, the water dissolved in the water, and then it will go into the upper part. These hair roots are attached to another membrane on top of something inside. Now, there's this upper part of the root. We call it the epidermis. Okay, these dissolved nutrients in the water will get from the hair roots into the epidermis, and from the epidermis it will go into the xylem. Okay, it will go into the xylem tube. Now the xylem is a tube running from the roots. It goes up to the branches. Okay, so you can see this has got branches now and like. It goes from the branches to the leaves, and then if you look closer at the leaf, again you're going to agree with me that there's a white tiny stuff moving from the bottom of the root of the leaf going up to the last. Okay, yeah, there's the white tiny stuff going around. So that is where the xylem is actually. So the xylem, water passes through the xylem and then it distributed into the other parts of the leaf. Okay, so water moves from the ground upward. It moves upward to the leaves in the xylem tube. Okay, now there's that force which pulls the water for it to move from the ground up. It's not easy to move up. If I jump, I still come back down, but it doesn't come back down, it continues going up. What is that force? That force which makes the water continue flowing up, flowing up like that. That force, that's what we call transpiration pull. Transpiration pull is that force which causes the water to move going upward. Okay? Now, transpiration pull causes the water to move upward. That's the force. And when this water starts moving now upward, being pulled going upward, it forms what we call this transpiration stream. Transpiration stream, that's now the water flowing in the xylem going upward, being pulled, forming the stream. That's transpiration stream. Okay? Transpiration stream. Okay? When it reaches the leaves finally, okay? Reaches my leaves here. When it reaches my leaves finally, it's going to evaporate. We learned evaporation in the last video. So it will evaporate. Okay? In short, what I'm saying is that this plant is going to lose this water. So the loss of water in plants is what we call transpiration. Okay? Water is important in plants, we have already discussed. Okay? Plants are living things, in case you didn't know. Plants are living things. Don't just step on plants, they are living. Be careful, okay? So plants are living things. They make food through photosynthesis. There's a process called photosynthesis which they use to make food. We'll look at it later on. And then there we have water enters a plant through hair roots to the epidermis and then into the xylem. Okay, so from the hair roots to the epidermis, we'll look at it from the epidermis into the xylem tube, and from the xylem tube, and then in the xylem tube it is pulled upward by the force called transpiration pull. Transpiration pull here pulls it up. The flow of it upward, the flow of this water going upward forms a transpiration stream. And then when it reaches the leaves, it evaporates finally. We call it transpiration. So I told you that as we go on, we shall understand what transpiration is. Didn't I tell you? So that's transpiration. So transpiration is the loss of water in plants through evaporation. Okay. Quickly, we can look at something more interesting again here before I call it a day. I don't like, when you start a topic, you better finish it. So we're looking at plants. We finish plants. In the next video, we're going to look at animals. Now, plants, something remaining most important is photosynthesis. Most people hear and they describe photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make food, green plants make food, green plants make food, green plants make food. Okay, here is my photosynthesis chart here. So, I've got a beautiful plant again, like I said. So this beautiful plant of mine here makes its food using the process called photosynthesis. Photo means light, by the way, okay? So there's light here, and then There's a green plant here. Okay, so there's this light energy is falling on this green plant's leaves. The leaves of the green plant are receiving this light energy. And then I have oxygen is given out, carbon dioxide is given out. Now, inside of the leaf for a plant, inside of the leaf for a plant, this plant, in its leaves, inside of its leaves, you are going to find what we call chloroplasts. Chloroplasts, they store what we call chlorophyll. Now, chlorophyll is the green pigment. It's the green part of the leaf. Okay, it's the green color in the leaf. That chlorophyll is stored in the chloroplasts. Now, the way it happens is that that chlorophyll, it works together actually with light from the sun. Not just light in the house to say I have light, I want a plant to make food. No, we want light from the sun. So that was about photosynthesis, and we've discovered that what goes in is carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. Of course, sunlight absorbed by chlorophyll there, and then what is given out is glucose and oxygen. Glucose and oxygen, that's what is given out. So this glucose is used as food by the plant. The remaining is stored as starch in the leaves. So the oxygen is the one which we use to breathe during the day. That's why it's nice taking a nap under a green plant during the day when it's hot especially.